Welcome to Wise Guys.
Today's profile, Mitch McConnell.
So we're talking about Mitch McConnell, the current Republican Senate Majority Leader. He's definitely a Southern boy. He's got those Southern roots.
Yeah, born in Alabama, moved to Georgia for a bit, ended up in Kentucky, which is where he's representing right now. And interestingly, he actually overcame polio as a child, which is remarkable, of course. Yeah.
I think we probably think that added to some of his mental toughness.
Yeah.
Went to college at University of Louisville, then went over to law school at University of Kentucky College.
Yeah, during his last year in law school, he actually ended up enlisting in the U.S. Army and was in the Army Reserve Unit for a while before being honorably discharged. But I think it speaks to a lot of, he's had a very varied background. He has had his hand in a lot of different things. He was the Deputy Assistant Attorney General for a bit of time as well. Yeah. And actually was a staffer on the Hill for a bit too, working for the then Kentucky senator, and got a lot of experience after law school and took his law degree to directly pretty much get involved in politics. But he didn't end up running for any position in a national or state electoral position. He had some local, elected positions, but didn't run for the Senate until 1984. That's Ronald Reagan's landslide victory year, but surprisingly, he was the only person that year, only Republican that year, to win a contested election. He was up against a two-term incumbent Democrat, and he narrowly eked out a win. I think something like under 0.5% was the victorial margin.
Yeah, he used some pretty inventive advertising.
Absolutely,
too.
yeah.
He used the switch to Mitch, which is kind of an interesting tagline. And ran a series of ads that I think was particularly well suited to Kentucky, where he had a bunch of hounds, looking for the incumbent. Like, where is this guy? He's supposed to be voting and representing you. Where is he?
Right, and I think that has been shown. Mitch McConnell has used this kind of humorous, effective, really inventive type of advertising and campaigning throughout his career, which is critical because the man has been challenged left and right. I mean, he has eked out some narrow wins, and in 2014 alone, he had a Republican primary challenger in the Tea Party swing. And this is one of the most, I guess, very high-ranking members of the Senate, nonetheless, immediately challenged with the Tea Party movement, and pretty quickly shown that while he has stayed in office for a while, we think his popularity is pretty limited to Kentucky. Because there seems,
and even there, he does not. He has never had a huge base of support in Kentucky, but he wins these elections. I think he's tough. He's smart, but I don't think he's not a guy that's going to be very popular, and I don't think he's particularly well suited to being the leader of a movement, which we think he is now. Basically, he is the leader of the Romney Republicans.
Right, the establishment, effectively, for what the Republican Party stands for. The movement conservatives are different. Remember, they're not the same as the Romney Republicans. And Mitch is representing this kind of willingness to be more of a center Republican, but at the same time, I think that while maybe not the most popular guy, he likes to get things done. He's been at the leading forefront of a lot of major legislation, including fiscal reform and things like
even
that.
Even things that aren't really popular with the right or with more conservative people, like if you're talking about debt ceilings, or you're talking about things like sequestration, or any of these let's say any of the grand deals during the Obama administration where something needed to get done, he was there trying to make it happen.
I think there's a lot of parallels to Chuck Schumer here in that there's a willingness to kind of go across the aisle and stick with what he thinks is right. And I think, President Trump's short time in office already, we've seen the Senate Majority Leader McConnell and his deputy, John Cornyn, actively be involved in honestly standing up to the White House and a lot of different things. They explicitly indicated and voiced their opposition to things like the first travel ban that was placed on immigration from certain Muslim majority countries to the United States, and a lot of things like that, that he's been really willing to stand up against what he thinks isn't right, I guess. And that's meaningful for the leader of the Senate majority when you have the Republicans holding both the House and the Senate. He's a powerful figure right now.
Yeah, he recently said a couple of things that definitely went against Trump and the Trumpsters.
Oh, yeah.
But, putting that aside, we think, McConnell and Schumer kind of have the same problem. They're currently sitting in the Senate. They've got to run the show from the Senate perspective. But they're also kind of shouldering the burden of being really the leaders of the establishment wings on both sides.
Yeah,
leadership team.
Absolutely. And I think another interesting facet of the Mitch McConnell profile is actually his wife.
Right, Elaine Chao.
Yeah. Elaine Chao is currently representing President Trump as the Secretary of Transportation that the Senate's now confirmed her as. And then also, before under George W. Bush, she was the Secretary of Labor. Then during H.W. Bush, she was the Deputy Secretary of Transportation. And somewhere in between there, I think she was the Director of the Peace Corps, too. So she has had a lot of, I guess, bureaucratic experience.
Yeah,
and
she's probably one of the most experienced bureaucrats in Washington at a senior level, and definitely one of the more experienced ones in the administration right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I would definitely call this a power couple.
Power couple.
This is
a DC power couple.
Absolutely. Senate Majority Leader and the Secretary of Transportation. That's meaningful. As always, thanks for watching. Shoot us an email or connect with us on Twitter for any questions, comments, or concerns. This has been Wise Guys.